Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alaihi. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam tabaraka wa sallama tasliman kasiran kasira amma ba'd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa man ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihan wa qala innani minal muslimin. My dear brothers and respected sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Rabb, our sustainer, our nourisher, provider. He is the creator of the entire world, the entire universe, the earth and the sky, the seven earth, the seven sky, and the seven continents of the earth, and whatever lies in between the heaven and the earth. So He creates man, He creates the jinns, He creates the animals, He creates the plants, He created the sea, and everything that we able to see or not able to see are all created by Allah. The jinn, the angels, we cannot see. The germ, the virus, we also cannot see, but they are also the creation of Allah. The visible and the invisible. Numerous, the numbers are beyond our apprehension, understanding. We can never count them. We can't even count anything about the germ, the virus, the angels, the jinn, the man. So many. You can imagine how powerful Allah is, how great Allah is. No? He created the sky, the heavens. He created everything, the mountains. If you just ponder, who can create all this? Just ask yourself a question. Who has created all this? The mountains, the oceans, the fishes, and all the things in the ocean. Who has created all this? Who has created all on the earth? The birds that flies, the small ants, animals on the grass. Who has created all this? You ask yourself a question. You are so proud and say, it's not created. It just come up and exist all by itself. No, cannot exist by itself. There is nothing can exist without being created or being made in this world. This is the law. This is the unshakable law. The law which cannot be denied. That nothing will exist without being created or being made. The car, the ants, the car, the shop, the stick, the needle, all are created without anyone creating them. We will not exist. So how could even a needle cannot exist without being created? How could the heaven exist? Heaven, the seven heavens, and the seven continents of the earth exist without being created. It can never be. It is insensible. It's insane to believe that has no creator. None who has created the heaven. It just exists. Oh, this is a comment from those who are very proud and arrogant. who do not want to believe in God. Those atheists, who don't believe in God, agnostic, those who doesn't know what the truth, are just simply people who have fooled themselves with false theories and conjectures. There is the heaven cannot exist without being created. Similarly, the earth, on all the planets, the sun, the stars, the angels, the flower, the birds, all are created. And when we are seeing all this, we see with the blind heart. We have eyes, we can see them, look beautiful. Beautiful animals, beautiful birds, flowers. That's about all we can see, flowers. Beyond that, we cannot see. We cannot see that the greatness of Allah who has created the flower, the fruits. Why Sufyan cannot see it? You just see the flower, you just see the fruit, you just see the fishes. Beyond that, who has created the fishes, who has created the flowers and the fruit, remains unknown to many people, almost all the people. So they only eat the fruit, they only eat the fish, they only eat the chicken, they eat this, eat that. They enjoy themselves without wanting to know who has created all this for them. They don't want to think. That is why people, the men who are not thinking, they are not men actually. They have been given mind, brain to think. They are just animals. Animals don't think. They eat. They eat the fruit, the chicken, that's all. They never think because they don't have mind to think. Allah have not given them brain to the extent that it can think to that far. Their brain are only meant to think about how to get fruits, how to get plants, how to get food for themselves, how to get shelter, like the cats. There are some cats who are quite intelligent. Some cats are not, but not to think about who has created me, no. They don't have the disposition or they don't have the abilities to be able to do such thing, But men are given the ability, the disposition to be able to think further as to who has created all this. Only thing that men do not want to use that disposition or that qualities of theirs. In order to think about Allah, to think about the creator of the whole world, they just become like animals, unwilling to use their brain to think on this very important matters. But simply to think how to get the food, how to get the fish, how to cook it, how to make it delicious, how to make it palatable, how to go to that place faster, how to make it even faster, how to kill somebody, how to make my enemies to be driven out from this world. And that's all. They use their mind, their brain, which should be used primarily to think as who Allah, who is my creator, who has created me, who has created the sky, who has created the heaven. Instead of using that, they're only using on how to get the food, how to cook the food, how to make it tasty, how to become more able to get more food, which restaurant to eat, which house to go, how to make the house more beautiful, how to have big cars, how to drive faster. And that's about all. These are actually in the boundaries of animals thinking. Animals too have the ability, some animal, ability to make good dwellers, than other animals. This is my territory. You should not come here. You come here, I'll fight you. Like, the cats in my house. If some other cats come within his territory, we will bark. We shout at the cat to get away. And that's all. Men are busy with all their needs only. Men are only involved, engrossed in their needs. The reason as to why they don't engross to think about the Creator, that is Allah. But one person in the whole world, one person whom Allah loves so much, he is Prophet Ibrahim. He is a person who thinks as to who is his God. He believes in God. He says it must be someone, but who is that God? And his pursuit to find out as to who his God is has been narrated, described in the Quran vividly and clearly, because it is a very important things that we have to do in our life. Sufyan never devote any time to think as to who his God is. He only grew up as a man, but he behaved like animals. He used his mind only to think about his needs. He used his mind on how to work to earn things so that his needs are fulfilled. That's about all. In the morning he'll go to work, in the evening he'll come back to eat, to drink and play with his wife, children. Tomorrow he'll go again, day in, day out. The same thing they're doing, like animals, like the birds. They are not meant to become birds. They are meant to become the best creation of Allah. But unfortunately, we are not trying to become the best creation of Allah, the vicegerent of Allah. Prophet who told to his people, you have been made to become the vicegerent, the Khalifa, as he has made the people of Noah to become the Khalifa and the vicegerent. So he told his people, you have replaced the followers of Noah, to become the vicegerent, the Khalifa of Allah. Don't disobey Allah. Obey Him, believe in Him. So his people do not want to listen to him. They're becoming like the people of Prophet Noah, who had denied Noah, alayhi salam. His people too has denied prophethood. Prophethood having a, the people of prophethood is big in size, very high in height, as high as the date palm. Body, highly built. Hud alayhi salam told them, you are meant to become the vicegerent of Allah, the Khalifa of Allah. Not to become, he didn't say, but not to become animals. But they choose to become animals, as the people of Prophet Noah. Do not choose to become the vicegerent, the Khalifa of Allah, but have chosen to become animals. So Allah has made it the vicegerent or the Khalifa of Allah. The Khalifa or the vicegerent of Allah means to attain the quality, the quality of Allah, not to become the quality of Allah. Allah is not arrogant now. When Allah says, I'm great, He's not arrogant. When I say, I'm great, Allah is not arrogant. Because He's really great. He's telling the truth. But if a man say, I'm great, that is arrogant. Why? It is untrue. I'm great. Some men, trying to say, I'm great. That is arrogant, proud. But when Allah says, I'm great, it's not proud. It's a statement which is true. Rasulullah said, you must be kind to your family. I'm the one who is the best in dealing with his family. It's true. It's not proud. You must understand that if somebody says, I'm the Prophet of Allah, and he's still real Prophet of Allah, you shouldn't say it's proud. Because it's true, he's a prophet of Allah. But if somebody who are not prophet of Allah say, I'm a prophet of Allah, he's a liar. There are many people who admit themselves, as having able to receive revelation, wahyu, and they created many new religions. They admitting themselves as prophets, some as incarnation of God, These are liars. They are not true. They are people who are proud and arrogant, wanting to be respected, wanting to gain publicity, praise from people. But not the prophet of Allah. They're telling, I'm the best prophet of Allah. He has to say that. When he say, I'm the prophet of Allah, and truly he is the prophet of Allah, he's not proud. He's telling the truth, that I've been sent to you to invite you to Allah. When I'm telling you I'm on the knife of Nabi, I'm not telling you that I'm a Nabi, a knife of Nabi. I'm not proud. I'm telling you the truth, so that you follow me and you obey me. Similarly, all the Prophet Allah say, I'm the Prophet of Allah, we've been sent to you. They are not proud. They don't say, oh, very proud. No. He's telling the truth so that you follow him and obey him. So I'm telling you, I'm the knife of Nabi. I'm not Nabi. The knife of Nabi Muhammad. I've not been given wahyu, but I've been given ilham or insinuation. And I have been given a device to find out whether the ilham or the insinuation given to me is from Allah or from the devil. So I'm not proud. I'm telling the truth. So Allah says, I'm great. I'm your Lord. Obey me. Submit to me. He's not telling lies. It's the truth. Allah is telling the truth. He's great. So what qualities of Allah that Allah wants us to inherit in order to become the vicegerent of Allah is the quality. The main quality is compassionate and merciful. So Allah SWT has made this ayat to be recited whenever we read His book, which is the Quran or the Taurat or the Injil. That is to recite with the name of Allah, most merciful and most compassionate. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Frequently reading this Bismillahirrahman, and to start doing anything with the words Bismillahirrahman, to slaughter the animals in the name of Allah, most merciful and most compassionate. These are the very great quality of Allah which we have to imbue, which we have to inherit in order to become the vicegerent or the Caliph of Allah. In order we to become the person who are compassionate and merciful, so we have to have the true faith in Allah, the true iman, to the level which Allah will be kind enough to shower upon us that quality of merciful and compassionate. So we like to help the people, compassionate and merciful. We like to forgive. We like to invite people to the truth. Among the works which should be done by those who are compassionate and merciful. They do not want people to enter hellfire. They want people to enter paradise. They want people to be safe, to be showered with the blessing, or they do not want people to be punished. For that, the main work, in order to become those who will inherit the qualities of compassion and merciful, is the work of dawah, the work of inviting people to Allah, the work of inviting people to good and forbidding people from evil. If you don't do this work, how can you be able to be given the quality of merciful and compassion? We know very well that if someone who disobeys the order of Allah, surely he will be punished. Not only in the hereafter, even in this world. They will not have peace and tranquility, neither in this world nor in the hereafter. So we must love them. Why? Because if we don't love them, we invite them to iman and faith and obedience towards Allah, they'll be punished. These are the qualities of those who are merciful and compassionate, who willing to forgive and to forget, the wrong of others, who always have hopes and fear, hopes about the mercy of Allah and fear of the punishment, who always look at the good side of others, not at the bad side, who repel evils with good deeds. These are among the qualities, who are patient and perseverance and enduring the punishment, enduring the test of Allah. So all the prophets of Allah, they've been struggling in doing the work of inviting people to Allah to the extent that Allah loved them so much. Allah give them this quality of merciful and compassionate. And similarly, those followers of the Prophet Allah who have followed the footsteps of the prophets in doing the work of inviting people to Allah or inviting people to good, forbidding people evil, with sacrifice of their time and work, are also given the level of iman, the level of faith to Allah, which will enable Allah, which enable them to be able to attain the quality of merciful and compassion. So these are the quality of the vicegerents of Allah, compassionate and merciful. If we do not do this work of dawah or the work of inviting people to Allah, we can never attain a strong iman and faith towards Allah. If we are not able to attain strong iman and faith to Allah, Allah will not give us the quality of compassionate and merciful. And we will not become the vicegerents. We will become like animals. If we only think about the work of earning money, like Rashidi, only earning money, collecting money, wealth, so we will not become the vicegerents of Allah, because we cannot attain iman with the work of collecting money, the work of trying to fulfill our needs. We will become fat maybe because we eat too much food and many diseases, and fat and able to enjoy, and that's about all. And then when we grow old, we will have many diseases, and finally we retire from doing so much work in earning money and collecting wealth. This is the work of everyone. They work so hard, not the work of inviting people to Allah. They come in totality. Everybody forget. And if you don't do that work, you cannot attain the iman, you cannot attain the faith toward Allah to the level which Allah will shower with the quality of compassionate and merciful. You cannot become the vicegerent of Allah. You have run away from the rail. You will not be able to fulfill the purpose as to why Allah has created us. So Allah has created us to become the vicegerent of Allah. There is a school in Malaysia, they make a kindergarten by the name of Khalifah, the little Caliph. But I do not know what they understand by making that school, little Caliph, teaching them science, mathematics, all the same as the other school. If you want to become the Khalifa, you don't make them to go to schools. First, make every Muslim to do the work. Not to go to school to learn science, to learn Quran. But to make everyone to do the work that will make them the vicegerent of Allah. And the work of the vicegerent of Allah is the work of all the prophets of Allah. And the work of the Prophet of Allah is also the work of the followers of the Prophet of Allah. We have to do the work of inviting people to Allah, or inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil. If we don't do this work, if that school, little Caliph, do not make all their students to do this work, they will never become Caliph. They will never become vicegerent. It is only a name which they use to deceive people. Nobody will enter that school, will become Caliph, because they don't do the work. The main work that makes us finally to become the Caliph of Allah is after reciting the kalima, that I bear witness there is no God except Allah, we must do the work of Allah. The work of Allah is what? inviting people to Allah. Allah says, come to me, believe in me. The work of Allah is only one work, and that is the work of the Prophet. Allah has given the work of Allah to the Prophets. He has selected among men to become the Prophet in order to do His work. His work is not to pray. His work is not to fast. His work is not to make salat. The work of Allah is to invite His creation, particularly man, to Him, to obey Him, to believe Him. And His work is only that. And He has selected among men, because, and similarly among jinn, they selected some jinn from among jinn to become the prophets for the jinn. And similarly has selected some men from among men to become the prophets, to do His work. And that work is also given to us, the followers of the prophets. And the followers of the prophet who do the work, so they can come to the level finally to be chosen to become the naib of the prophets. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us to become, the first work that we have to do after reciting the kalima is the work of Allah, the work of the Prophet of Allah. And when we do that work, we will attain iman, very strong iman. Then when we will be able to attain very strong level of iman, then Allah will give us all the qualities of Allah, except Allah will not make us to become proud, telling lies. But all the prophets say, I'm a prophet of Allah. That is not proud. That is telling the truth. The Prophet the highest among, the lowest among you in iman. And naturally Rasulullah is the highest. He is telling to his followers that I'm the highest among you. He's not proud. That is true. So some people do not understand between proud and between telling the truth. All those people who are not messenger of Allah, they're saying they're messenger, they are telling lies. They tell because of proudness. The scholars of the Jews who distorted the Torah and the Injil so that people will follow them instead of following Allah and Prophet. They are proud. They are arrogant. Because they want people to follow Him, not to follow Allah. They want people to obey Him, not to obey Allah. That's proud. But the Prophet ﷺ doesn't ask people to obey Him. To obey Allah and to obey Him for this when Allah has told him the orders. Prophet did not produce new orders. The work of Prophet is to convey the orders of Allah. And what the Prophet has ordered is also the order of Allah. So, my dear brothers, we have to become the vicegerent of Allah, the Caliph of Allah. That's what it meant when Allah says to the angel, I'm going to create another creation in order to become the vicegerent of Allah. Not to have power and to rule the world, not vicegerent like that. The vicegerent of Allah is to shower the qualities of Allah, to inherit, to adopt the main qualities of Allah which Allah wants the vicegerent of Allah to adopt, compassionate and merciful. And this is what the ayat, when the angels, grabbed Muhammad SAW, the first time when he said, read, he said, read. The word read there means, say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Read in the name of Allah, most merciful, most compassionate. That's why read, but wrongly interpreted as being an order to learn. So all the so-called ustad and saying, the first order of Allah is to learn, to study. Iqra. The word Iqra, when the angel say Iqra, means read. Read with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most merciful and most compassionate. Rasulullah do not understand. Read, he said. Keep quiet. Read. Understand? So it is an order of Allah that when we read the Quran or when we do anything, we should begin with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most compassionate and most merciful. So that we always remember. These are the main quality of Allah that Allah wants us to follow, to adopt, to inherit. So that we will become the Vajra. We can never inherit this quality unless we make the work of Allah, the work of Nabi, to be our main work, to invite people to Allah. With the sacrifice of our wealth and time. In our locality, in our time, in the country, in the whole world. Okay.